Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to some more Let's Play the Void. Let's go ahead and start this cycle from inside Fireflies. We can do the summary for the prior cycle here and knock out 2 eye wings with 1 stroke, as it were.
There's nobody here. Nobody.
We helped ensure that in the last cycle. The sister here had asked us to eliminate the predators which had begun to show up in her realm. They're a sign that her realm is diseased and that color is being wasted. And she hinted that there is nothing, or she not hinted, she's flat out said, that there's nothing that the brothers hate more than color being wasted. That's an interesting topic for her to bring up, because she's mentioned in the first cycle, I believe, that the brothers are likely never to return. But in the second one, she stressed that if we act as if we're going to care for her, that the brothers might consider us being one of them. Otherwise, they'd cast us back into the void. But the brothers, she also said, had left and are unlikely to return. But she's acting as if they will. She's hiding in the tree in her center chamber, and she looks like she's terrified of them, which is probably a great hint that we should be too. We saw that trees will give us more color than we put into them on the next cycle that they sprout. But it wasn't very much more.
No regrets.
Just 7 more. But still, it's a way to deposit color to make sure that we can take more from other sources, such as these saplings. But today, we can show you that these trees have sprouted, or bloomed, I should say bloomed, have bloomed a second time. Yesterday, the previous cycle, cycle 2, this little tree, or bush, had, I think, 30 azure, and we had put 24 or so into it to grow it. Today, it has 14 more for us to take, if we so desire. Every cycle that a tree can give you color, it will tend to give you half the color
I will bring you luck.
that it gave you in the prior cycle, when it gave you any. It occurs to me, by the way, before we continue talking about what happened in the last cycle, that many of you have you read the comments in like the first video? It sounds like most of you are very familiar with the Void already, in which case I feel a little bad because I'm preaching to the choir, as it were. I'm spending a great deal of time covering game mechanics. But we are still in the tutorial. I know it might not feel like it, like we're 3 videos in now, or we will have wrapped up this entire cycle as the 3rd video, but we're still in the tutorial, and we are likely to probably be ending it in cycle 4. We fed the sister that we met some color as well. She likes emerald and gold, and those will be the only colors that she will accept as well. We can't give her any azure even if we wanted to. This will not hold true for other sisters, but we'll talk about that in the future. We've seen that we get half as much color from the trees that we grow each cycle. Yesterday, so just to make this point one more time, because it's really important to know, this would mean that this tree, which gave us 9 color yesterday, and we took none from it, should have generated 4 more today. 4 or 5 more, or maybe less. And today it's got 13 emerald in it. We'll go ahead and let this tree continue to grow, but tomorrow I would expect this to have 15 emerald in it, just 2 more. small trees like these take less color to fully bloom, but also give you less color, and they give it to you. There's they reach their final blooming state faster. I think in 3 or 4 days, the trees here will stop providing color. Whereas in a garden, as opposed to this, which is a reservation, in gardens they will bloom for like 5 or 6 days before they finally stop providing color.
I will give you the power to control time.
We also saw what happens if you try to take color, but don't have the capacity to store it in your lympha. Color will be instead deposited on the ground in the form of a colored drop. That drop will then dissipate after a few seconds have elapsed, with that color being lost to the void. Try to make sure that you are grabbing only the colors that you can hold, and or using color in your nerva so that you can continuously drain color from your lympha into nerva without having to worry about leaving color lying around. More things than just us are interested in color, and so this will be important to know. For example, we have 102 color in our container at the moment for Azure, and there's 7 here, so we can technically take this.
Don't fear death. There is no death in the void.
So we will take it. But we can't hold very much emerald, 15 more, so we'll leave it in the small trees here. Let's go ahead and head back out into the void, and I think we'll complete the quest to eliminate the predators by heading over to the mine in Farnix. So let's do the trick about spending no color to get there, because right now we need all the color we can get. By the way, if you hover over a chamber, it will show you quite clearly how much color could be collected here if you were to drain this area entirely of the color which is growing.
Sisters, how many of us are still alive?
I recognize that sister's voice. We'll see her soon enough.
I sense 2 hiding here. I can hear them.
The hopping creatures. I can see 1 over there. 2. They're both over there. Why don't we go ahead and see if we can kill both of them with 1 stroke? We weren't able to do that to the eye wings when we tried that in the last episode, but maybe we can do that here. Oh. As long as we're moving color around, let me show you what happens if you take all the color out of all of your hearts.
You don't have enough color inside you. You'll die as soon as you leave this chamber.
If we head back out into the void, and a single segment of time elapses, we will immediately die. So always try to make sure there's color in your hearts. And for this reason, you'll want to have some lympha to make sure that you can put color into your hearts if you're running low. On that note, if ever we're attacked here in a chamber, we will have color drained from our hearts. The color taken is randomized, and I think it could even be spread across multiple hearts. But if we had no color in our hearts and one of these things attacked us and damaged us, and we lost color and we had none, we would be dead at that moment, I believe. Use when we can't put all the emerald in this heart. Alright, let's fight! We learned yesterday that we can fight by drawing a stroke over creatures. I think we struck just one of them with that. The color you use to draw the stroke does not matter, as far as I'm aware. Just that you do so. Wow. Wow, these things have a lot of life.
I think you got all of them. Thank you, my love. Return to me.
I was expecting just to spend 11 on each one. Oh, and their bodies faded. Oh, and I wanted to show you what they do when you get too close to them. I guess we'll have to watch for that in the future episode, then, when we see these things again. Alright, well, let's keep going. So, the sister has asked us to return to her. Let's absolutely go back. We want to know if she has any other tasks for us, and it's very important that we try to get those tasks done sooner rather than later. So, let's just go ahead and once again and do the no color trick to make it back to her. And you'll note that we're moving a bit faster than we had when we left this chamber. We'll talk about why that is when we get over into fog to begin collecting color from there. But first, let's visit her. That she hides when we approach her, even though she knows we're coming back to visit her. Makes me think that she's not sure who we are. Maybe she doesn't see very well. Or maybe we look like a brother to her and she's scared of us too, because of that. But then she does recognize us. I'm looking at her string here. I think that is indeed supposed to be a cord or something wrapped around her arm. I don't think you can give nothing to a sister to talk with them. You have to actually give a drop.
You succeeded. The brothers are tireless fighters, but now you also know how to fight. What if they want to test you before they decide? Now you're ready to see one of my hearts.
Haste. This glyph charges the air and ground around its creator with color. For a short time, it increases the creator's speed of movement and the distance that can be jumped. The greater the amount of color used on the glyph, the longer the effect lasts.
Listen, we sisters have our own hearts. We can also drink color and grow stronger. Satisfy one heart, and a sister will agree to help you. Satisfy a second, and she will have the strength to help you pass through her chamber. The brothers roam the void whenever they choose. You must learn to do this too. It won't be easy to quench my thirst and reveal two hearts. It will take more than one harvest from your garden. But that's the last I will ask of you. Open two of my hearts, and the brothers cannot question your right to be an apprentice.
Alright then. The sisters connect the void. You need to fill two of Nameless Sister's hearts. So that's her name is Nameless. so she could let you pass. We'll show what that means when we get back out into the void. Let's go and head over to Fog and collect some more color. We're probably going to make this, well, not make this, but this is probably going to be a short one as well, because we need time to pass to convert the color to our Nerva, and there isn't very much else we can do at the moment while doing that. But aside from just waiting in the void, we don't have too many other areas open to us at this moment. So, let's once again use the no color trick and head over to Fog. Notice once again that we're moving a bit faster than we normally would. And let's talk about what the Nameless Sister was trying to tell us about. Before I can do this though, well, I guess we'll talk about it when we get back out here. I have to talk about a few other things first. So let's jump into Fog and collect some more color from here while managing what's in our hearts. Speaking of which, we made a mistake. The Nameless Sister gave us another heart. We didn't put any color in it when we came over here. At the moment, I feel like we should be trying to get as much Nerva as we can of the colors we have currently in our Lympha. So we should be filling the hearts we have with the colors over here. We'll slot all of our let's not do that quite yet. I want to show you guys something. Once again, I'm preaching to the choir, because most of you, I get the impression, know about this already. But you'll note that when we were in the void, we were moving a bit faster than we normally were. When we started the episode, moving quite slowly without moving any color, but then we seemed to get a bit of pep in our step, but then it seemed to go away when we came back over here to Fog. This is because the colors that you are carrying in your hearts do more for you than keep you alive, and they're used in more ways than just being transferred over to your Nerva to be spent. Every color has a passive benefit, and you can read about them over here in this user interface. Azure, the color of suffering and inner pain, but with an indispensable strong shade of hope to it. The color makes you more sensitive to time. Its gift is speed. The more azure you have inside you, the faster you will move, both in the void and in the chambers. So right now, we have 25 azure in our heart. This transfers to increasing our movement speed. The number we see here, 31%, does not translate to a 31% increase in our speed. Just of the maximum we could have for having color, the azure color in us, we are benefiting it from 31% of it. It's a bit odd to phrase it this way. Just know it's not, I don't think it's a 100% increase to your speed if we had enough azure in us to move at that speed. But you will see, this is my running speed at the moment. Fairly quick. If we put even more azure into us, we are now moving at 100 speed. Or 100% of speed, of our speed. And this is how fast we move. Let's see how fast, if we can count the seconds. Let's count us from here to that gold tree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if we take the color out of us in our center heart, and do this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 seconds faster. That can make a big difference if you're trying to avoid fighting creatures and just circumvent and run around them. It'll make a big deal when you're fighting creatures as well, since it lets you keep yourself out of harm's way. And it also plays an important part in the void, getting from spot to spot faster. So not only do you need to concern yourself about having color in your hearts, you need to remember what passive benefits the colors do for you while they are in your hearts. For this matter, you want to make sure you also have a good amount in your lympha. It may be more important for you to have color in your hearts to utilize it in that for the passive benefit than for you just to convert it into nerva and then swing at a creature using it, when any color whatsoever could have done that job for you reasonably well. It's a nice balance, and I really like the amount of thought you have to have in regards to what colors you want to hold on to, what colors you need to have in you, and what colors you have in your nerva, because you need a good mixture of all these things. You want colors in your nerva to grow trees, to feed a sister, to open up her hearts, and also to have a color in your hearts to benefit from the passive bonuses to help you fight, and to get nerva from them, while having stuff in your lympha left over in order to put it in your hearts, potentially just for the passive benefit, and then removing it from your hearts and putting it back into the container over here, so you have at least enough to give you a 100% bonus for that color. Anyway, let's go ahead and slot color in our hearts again. We know we have a bunch of emerald in both this chamber, fog, a garden, and fireflies, the reservation. So we're going to go ahead and keep 75 emerald in our donor heart. Emerald says defense here when put to our brush, and reduces the damage that we take from creatures. Gold is called trust. I don't really know a way to I don't know the word to better describe this. I don't think trust would probably be accurate. But the more of this color we have in ourselves, when we give color to a sister, the more credit we will be given for that color. You might remember that in the last episode, we gave her like 73 or so color, but we were credited for 92 color. This is because we had, I think, 25 gold in one of my hearts. Okay, so anyway, we're going to want to feed this sister some color, and she accepts emerald and gold. We're going to leave the emerald in us, I think, all 75, so let's go ahead and drain more emerald to refill this container. Although this does give me a chance to describe something else or show you guys something else as well.
No one will protect you better than I.
Two things now, actually. We just touched a emerald sapling, and we heard the color talking about protecting us. A hint as to what emerald does. We put the maximum amount of color we were allowed to put into this tree to grow it yesterday, I believe. 40. And so we should expect there to be 47 emerald in this tree today. But there isn't. There's 45 emerald. This would make it seem like there's a range of color that you can get from a tree when it first blooms. But that's not correct.
No one will protect you better than I.
There is only a maximum amount, and that maximum amount is the same for all trees. Which would mean that trees will no longer give us 47 color. These trees give us 45. Why did they give us less color? Something changed. We'll talk more about it in a future cycle. Once again, to note, however, that color accumulates inside trees if you don't take it. We didn't take any color from this tree, I think, in cycle 1. And today, it has 69 color in it. 47 originally, and then another, looks like 22 today. In this tree as well, I think we planted it cycle 1 and drained all of it in cycle 2. Today, I'm expecting there to be 22 or 23 color in this tree. And there's 23. Let's leave the other colors here and venture back into the void and revisit the sister after we let some time pass and let the colors in our hearts convert. Now, the sister was talking about opening hearts and what it means to do that for other sisters. If you fill one sister's hearts, she will help you, is what Nameless said. What this means is that you will gain access to the chambers which are off of her main chamber. Nameless doesn't work this way. Nameless is a bit different. Nameless is the tutorial sister. She's more than that. She'll be around afterwards. But she is, for the most part, her and her starting chambers begin out rather mellow, as I'll call it. We should probably slot. I guess we're gonna grow another azure tree somewhere. Let's do this. Nameless's chambers were open to us immediately, as opposed to requiring us to fill one of her hearts. This is because probably that would be quite an abundance of information to dump on the player in order to have them unlock these chambers to start. But she's the only sister which chambers we can access from the very beginning of the game upon beating that sister. Ava, for example, or Uta. We will not be allowed to access any of the chambers off their main chamber unless we fill one of their hearts. We have to fill a second heart in order to pass on to from that sister's chambers to a different sister's chambers that we did not arrive from. So if we want to go from Ava's alcove to Ema's tower, we would need to fill 2 of Ava's hearts first to do that. And then, over in Ema's chamber, we have to fill 1 of her hearts to access her small chambers, 2 to take this path up here. Okay. Let's go ahead and visit the Nameless Sister. And we'll see if we can fill one of her hearts. I always feel compelled when she hides to stand still so as not to scare her more. Hello. Alright, let's go ahead and give her a dot of color. We have plenty of emerald, waiting for us in fog, waiting for us in fireflies. So let's use some emerald to fill more of her heart. Let's fill the rest of this heart with emerald.
Hunger has taken almost all of the sisters. There are only 9 left, but they too are preparing for their deaths. With the brothers gone, there's nobody to keep color and take care of us. I am the youngest of the surviving sisters. No sister was born after me. That's why color forgot our void.
No brother emerged to care for her either, if what she said earlier was true. I wonder what makes her special compared to the others. In the lower left-hand corner now, see that this container is filled with red? This is one of her hearts being filled. We can see that we've also donated 11 of the 250 we need to fill her second heart. The second heart requires more color than the first to fill. We have color. We could start feeding her more color, but I think we'll wait until we can get more out of our, transfer more to our Nerva, so have a better feeling for what we can afford to spend. Let's head back to Fog to collect more color. We should also be... Oh! I should, however, have slotted more gold in my heart before I gave her color. I actually forgot. I meant to do that and did not do so. So that required quite a bit more emerald than it normally would have required us to do. Well, mistakes are made. Let's head back to Fog. I won't make that mistake again in the future. Alright, so no color spent. Get back over here. And we'll let this heart drain of its color. And let's head in. So, we will continue to put emerald here. And we'll drain the rest of the emerald from this garden. I think we'll take that gold as well. The azure we don't quite need at the moment. We should probably think about spending some azure, which would mean growing another tree. Although I prefer having a crop rotation of sorts in my gardens and not filling every single tree with color. Doing so means that, well, how to describe this? If we were to grow every tree in this garden, that's great for the next, 2 days, when the trees will give us back the maximum, well, not the maximum, but give us a good harvest of color. But then they'll start to give less and less, and then there's nothing here. And we can't grow anything else until the trees have gone back to have finished their dormant cycle and can accept color again. The whole process from start to finish will take about 9 or 11 days, if I recall correctly. So we don't want to fill every single tree in case we need an emergency tree or two created that we'll be able to drain color from to keep us fed. So I'd rather not spend more azure at this moment. But it also means that means we're nearing the maximum we can hold in our Nerva. If I don't want to spend any of it, then I need to be careful about how much I have in my Lympha. It also means that we have an azure tree we're not draining color from, but we can at least leave that there for one more day. And we cannot take all the gold from this tree. Go ahead and put a little bit of this in me. And we'll take the emerald out of this one. Do we need all 69? arguably we can hold it. There's more emerald for us in fireflies, but we could always leave it in fireflies. Let's drain, like, maybe half of this. Okay, and now we'll head back out into the void, and we'll head over to fireflies, and we'll wait for the next cycle. And that's all for this one, everyone. We're going to do one cycle per video, and for the first few cycles, there isn't actually that much to do. In fact, I'm making it quite a bit longer than it probably needs to be by describing various gameplay mechanics. And once again, I feel like most of you probably know them already. Oh! But there's one more thing to point out here, just in case you haven't seen the game before. There's this symbol. This is different than the trees. We haven't seen this symbol before. What does this mean? I'll tell you what this does in the future, when it will be more important for us to understand what this would do for us. Just know at the moment that this is saying we can put 32 color in it. Any color that we want. Why we would do that, though, we'll talk about later. Okay, let's head back to Nameless. Since we have no azure in us, we are once again traveling very
I'm still alive, but death is drawing near.
Oh. I know the sister, I know all their voices. Oh, I feel so bad for her. Her in particular, given her situation, what she looks like when you find her. But I think she'll be okay, I hope. How much color do we have? I think we'll let time tick and just allow our color to drain into our Nerva and let this cycle end. And everyone, thank you for watching, and hopefully I will see you for Cycle 4. Everyone, take care, and thanks again for watching.